All right, let's jump right in. We're going to unpack the big ideas from a book that honestly changed everything, Eric Ries's The Lean Startup. And look, this is so much more than just another business book. It's really a scientific method for how to win, especially when you're dealing with massive, massive uncertainty.
And, this quote from Ries just nails the situation we're in. It really feels like we're in this golden age of entrepreneurship, right? I mean, anyone, anywhere can build something new, the tools are practically free, the market is global, but that's the peril he's talking about. That huge opportunity, it comes with an equally huge risk. And that risk, that peril, it's just one word: failure.
So that really is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? If starting something new is so easy but also so incredibly dangerous, how are you supposed to navigate it? I mean, what's the map that gets you through that minefield?
And this, right here, this is the heart of the problem. It's not just about the money that gets lost. Not at all. Ries frames it as something much bigger, a colossal waste of our most precious resource. Just think about it for a second. All those late nights, the brilliant ideas, that raw human passion, all of it poured into building something that in the end, nobody even wants. It's tragic, and we just have to find a better way.
So when you look at how people have traditionally approached this, they usually fall into one of two camps, and neither one works very well. On one hand, you've got the rocket ship planners. These are the folks with the 100-page business plan, mapping out every single detail for the next 5 years. And then, on the other hand, you've got the just do it, chaos method. These guys think planning is the problem, so they just throw stuff at the wall and hope something sticks. The big problem? Both of these roads almost always lead straight off a cliff.
I mean, this quote just says it all. Achieved failure. Think about that. It means you did everything you were supposed to do. You hit every deadline, stayed on budget, perfectly executed the plan, but the plan itself was wrong from the very beginning. So what have you done? You've just built something nobody wants, with incredible efficiency. You've successfully failed.
Okay, so this is the moment where everything changes. This is where the lean startup just flips the entire script on us. It poses a really powerful question. What if the problem isn't how well we execute our plans? What if the real problem is that we've been measuring progress all wrong? What if all that activity, all the coding, the marketing, the building, what if that isn't progress at all?
So to get to the solution, we have to start with a new definition, Ries's definition of a startup. And what's so important here is what it is and what it isn't. He calls it a human institution, not a product, not an app. It's an organization. And its purpose is to create something new under conditions of extreme uncertainty. Notice what's missing? There's no mention of a garage, or company size, or being in Silicon Valley. This means that a small team inside a huge corporation trying to build a new product, yep, they're a startup too.
And that leads us to the core reframe of the entire book. Entrepreneurship is not the opposite of management. It's not about chaos. In fact, entrepreneurship is management. It's just a different kind of management, one that's specifically designed for navigating that thick fog of uncertainty when you have no idea who your customer is or what they'll actually pay for. It's a discipline.
Okay, so if progress isn't just building more features, then what is it? It's this: validated learning. This becomes the true measure of progress, the real currency of a startup. It's not about what you think is a good idea. It's not about what's in your business plan. It's about the rigorous, almost scientific process of proving what's true, using real data from actual customers to find out which of your ideas are genius and which ones, well, are total duds. Everything you do should be laser-focused on learning something valuable.
So, this whole new way of managing a startup is built on 5 key principles. And we've actually already touched on the first 3. Entrepreneurs are everywhere, entrepreneurship is management, and progress is all about validated learning. But now we get to the really juicy stuff, the engine that makes it all run. Number 4, the build, measure, learn loop, and number 5, something called innovation accounting.
And this is the engine, the absolute heart of the lean startup, the build, measure, learn feedback loop. The idea is so simple, but so powerful. You build a tiny version of your idea, maybe just a landing page. Then you measure how people react to it. Do they sign up? Do they ignore it? And then you learn from that data. You learn whether you should keep going or if you need to pivot and change direction. And the whole goal, the entire game, is to get through this loop as fast as you possibly can. Speed is your most critical asset.
To really get this, think about this analogy. The old school rocket ship approach is, well, it's like a rocket. You spend months, maybe years, calculating everything perfectly. You build the whole thing, you press the big red launch button, and you just pray that you land on Mars and not somewhere else. But a lean startup? That's way more like driving a car.
You know you want to get to, say, California, but you're constantly using your steering wheel, checking the GPS, and making little adjustments to deal with traffic and detours along the way.
And that steering wheel, that GPS, that's your build, measure, learn loop. Every single time you go through that cycle, you're turning the wheel. You're making a small course correction based on what the road, your customers, are telling you. It's what keeps you from driving off a cliff and ensures you're actually heading somewhere people want to go.
Okay, so this brings us to one last really profound idea. If your job isn't to just blindly execute a 5-year plan, if it's not about just building a product, then what is the point? Why does a startup even exist?
And here's the answer. A startup's purpose is not to make stuff. Its purpose is to learn how to build a sustainable business. That's it. Think of a startup as one giant experiment. Your job is to take all the guesses in your business plan, your leap of faith assumptions, and systematically turn them into cold, hard facts. The thing you're building, that's just part of the experiment. The real product you're creating is the business itself.
And you know, this way of thinking goes way beyond just tech startups. Like Tim O'Reilly says here, it's really about learning faster, learning what works, and, just as importantly, learning what doesn't, so you can stop wasting time on it. You can apply this to anything: government policy, a new program at a hospital, a nonprofit, heck, even a personal project you're working on. It's really a universal toolkit for getting things done in a smarter way. So, let's leave it with a challenge for you. Think about whatever you're working on right now. It could be your business, a project at work, or even just an idea that's been rattling around in your head. Ask yourself this: what is the single biggest, riskiest assumption that everything else depends on? The one thing that, if it's wrong, makes the whole thing fall apart. And then, what is the tiniest, quickest, cheapest experiment you could run, not next month, but this week, to find out if you're actually on the right track? Answering that? Well, that's the science of success.